So why don't you tell me a little about what your question is?
So, beginning, where to start? Somebody has no experience, no background, and doesn't want to go the conventional method, but let's just say is eccentric and outside of the normal modern time frame. Wants to pursue a relationship based on biblical principles, so no sex before marriage, and is seeking a relationship that is going to be aiming for long-term goals that conflict with the majority of dating advice and what is put out there as what should be the norm for a relationship.
So what's your specific question?
So that's my...
That was the good background? What's the
That's the question. So the background to the question, I'm going to simplify I want to give that, but the question is simply, from your experience, how does a gentleman like this background even begin? You're out there.
So one of the things I love about dating is everyone wants to believe that they are so unique that they're going to need a unique solution.
Right.
And actually human beings are built in a way that has one purpose. You meet people that say, my purpose is to be the best business owner, or my purpose is to be a professional skier. And they believe that's their purpose, and it's wrong. You have one purpose, and that purpose is to procreate and make more children, to survive and ensure that your genetics and your species continues. That is what we're born to do, what we're built to do. Now, there are people that will make a choice and they'll choose not to do that, and that's absolutely fine. And there are people that will find other purposes that they think are more important, and that's fine too. But your body is designed to do one thing. And everything about you, you're literally a lean, mean dating machine. You just don't recognize it yet. And what happens is we believe that our unique situation changes that. So, for example, I know you mentioned that your background is you've got this very biblical background and something that you want to honor and follow, and that's absolutely fine. You're not the only person like that. There are a lot of people out there who want exactly what you want. You are not the unique, special snowflake in that regard. However, you are still a unique, special snowflake when it comes to you particularly. What that means is, the person that other people get to meet will not be the unique version of you, first of all. They're going to meet the you that basically illustrates who you are, what you are, and puts that forward in the best possible way, in the best package possible. And then, once they get to know you, they'll start unraveling the layers, as Shrek would say, until we get to the core of the onion, which finds the true you. What happens is when somebody first meets someone, they feel that they're going to get rejected for who they are. And is that something that you felt? Okay, so no one actually knows the real you until they get to meet you. The more time they spend with you is when they're going to find that real you. So actually what they're rejecting is not you, it's the shell that you're choosing to show. Now, what's powerful about you and about your ideals is you've got some very strong ideals, which is absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But the shell that you're creating, that initial shell, is one of not warmth and bringing people in, but actually of pushing people away. Because you've got these harsh rules that you're controlling around yourself, and they're coming out so fast and so early, it doesn't really give you a chance to really get to meet other people. I've actually trained a lot of religious leaders, and I find that when people come from these strong religious backgrounds, they often feel that if they interact with somebody that they might be interested in, that should lead to dating. I'll give you a case example. I'm working with a rabbi right now, and the rabbi has a fear about making friendships with women. And so when I explained to him, well, why do you have a fear about it? He said, well, I don't want to give any of them the wrong idea. And I said to him, you're the only one with the wrong idea. These women aren't being friends with you because they're hoping that they get to marry you. They're just being friends. As a rabbi, you're making the mistake of thinking that the friendship might go further. And I said, with all due respect, the only person adding more into this is you. You don't have to touch them, you don't have to be inappropriate, but there is nothing wrong with having friends. Now, this is where this becomes very powerful. When you become friends with women, and you don't focus on dating them, you just focus on becoming friends, you start to learn all these little pieces. So, for example, something that people often miss is a woman won't allow you to hang out with them without making a few little tweaks to your appearance. They'll do silly little things like you've probably not noticed it, but your haircut right now, like it sort of like sits on the top of your ears. I can't think of a single woman that I know that if I was dating them or even just hanging out as a friend wouldn't say to me, you need a haircut. Because these small little details mean something to them. And I always know when a man is hanging out with a lot of women Because these little tweaks, these little techniques, the woman will point out. And she will say, hey, this needs fixing. And the women will slowly shape the guy into being the kind of person that women are naturally attracted to. This also does something better. It gives you something called pre-selection. And psychologists have found that pre-selection is really one of the main triggers of attraction. If other women find you attractive, more women are likely to find you attractive. So the focus shouldn't be on dating people, shouldn't be on finding somebody to date. It should actually be on making friends who are women and enjoying hanging out with them. And in your own mind, stop thinking about now I'm dating them or maybe this person's being inappropriate, and instead just treating them as a friend. By hanging out with women as a friend, it will be a lot easier. Which brings us back to, if we go to the core of your question, which is where do you get started? The start is making friends with women. Now, this is something that people struggle with as well, because they're like, how do I meet women for friendship? Well, good news is I know you, and I know that you already attend a number of networking events. One of the key elements there is finding the women that you genuinely enjoy spending time with and spend more time with them. Get talking to them, have a drink, have a chat. Get to this point where they like hanging out with you, not just at the networking events, but they'll be willing to hang out with you outside of it. This gets even easier if you're hanging out with 2 or 3 women at once, because you satisfy the number one criteria that most women need in order to spend time with a man, which is feeling safe. They need to feel that you're not going to do anything inappropriate. And based on what you've described to me, it sounds like you would never do anything inappropriate anyway. So rather than just relying on the fact that you say you won't, they can be safe in numbers. And because there's a few women there, they know that you're safe. And then you can open up to them about your situation. You can explain to those women the thing that you're looking for, the unique situation. Not aimed at them, but just aimed in general. And now you're utilizing one of the most powerful tools of human attraction that we're born with, which is the ability to talk to women and their ability to communicate with each other. They're actually very good at finding partners. And so rather than you going out there and randomly hoping you meet with the right person, you got 5 or 6 women that are friends of yours who maybe know someone through church, maybe know another woman who doesn't go out to nightclubs because she doesn't want to be inappropriate, and she's hoping to meet a guy who is being true and honest. And then these same women might sit down with you and they might say, hey, but we're going to get you your haircut sorted, or we're going to work on your fashion. And they'll give you those tips. So when you first meet this woman, you're presented in the best possible way you can, that outer shell of the onion. She's presented in the right way. And because you two have similar views and your friends have already pieced this together, the whole thing can happen naturally.
Well, thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you, man. Cool. Thanks, guys. Round of applause to this guy.